saying that to say, black folk, you got 18 months to be prepared. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Make sure you and your family are able to protect yourselves in case the white folk of this country decide to purge black folk on the eve of the next presidential election. Be prepared. Stop giving your weapons back. I don't want anyone in here to ever be in a position where you have to take another person's life. I've never had to, and I hope I never have to, black or white, but I know the times we live in. And I know they're not promised. And I know that America will one day soon descend into chaos. And you have to be able to protect your family. We've all seen the movie The Purge. Well, guess what? That's exactly what they're planning. A purge. Martial law where it looks like the everyday white man is exterminating black folk, even though the orders are coming from the government. Brothers and sisters, get ready. When we was in Africa on our group trip, coming back the beginning of August, we saw on the news that there was an Ebola outbreak. And the interesting thing about the so-called Ebola outbreak was that it took place concomitantly with President Obama's conference with the head of African leaders. So while the leaders of Africa were downtown in D.C. with the president, it just so happens that the biggest Ebola outbreak in African history took place. Now, you and I know there's no such thing as coincidences. They deliberately pulled the leaders out of the country, out of the continent, and then dropped the Ebola bomb. And make no mistake, half the Africans they're diagnosing with Ebola don't even have Ebola. But it is beneficial to the white supremacist agenda to overdiagnose Ebola. Same thing with AIDS. Half the black folk diagnosed with it don't even have it. But it feeds the agenda to overdiagnose it. Not to mention the billions of dollars they make on Wall Street for pushing the drugs that come with these man-made diseases. Let us not be fooled. We know we're both AIDS and Ebola were birthed right here in Maryland. United States Army Biological Weapons Lab, Fort Detrick, is still there today. Bird flu, swine flu, H1N1, AIDS, Ebola, and half the cancers we catch came directly from Maryland. And if you think Ebola is something, they're working on diseases that'll make Ebola look like the common cold, brothers and sisters. So what do you do about that? Well, one thing you do about that is you stop taking these damn immunizations they want you to take. To my elders, stop taking the flu shot. Elders, stop taking the flu shot. They're giving you time-release cancer, and they're giving you time-release heart disease, and they're giving you time-release epilepsy. They're killing y'all. And stop immunizing your children. They don't need it. And they cannot force it. You have a legal right to refuse it. Now is not the time to take anything from white folks. Here's the question of the day. Why would the people that's trying to get rid of you give you something to help you live longer? Anything they give you feeds the extermination agenda. Make no mistake about it. For my biracial brothers and sisters, you belong to the family. But you must identify openly the fact that you belong to the family. The issue that we sometimes have with our biracial brothers and sisters is that some of you haven't made up your mind to be unapologetically African yet. You like to be black on the weekends and white when you're with your white family. And so what we're saying is you have to make up your mind whether you're going to be black all day long or just black when it's convenient. Make up your damn mind. Black man, stop going outside your woman. In D.C., y'all got it crazy down here. Black men love anything other than a black woman. You got to stop it. And it has nothing to do with hating white women. I would never want to disrespect another human being. A little white girl should not feel inferior to my daughter, and my daughter shouldn't feel inferior to a little white girl. But we don't support it, not because we hate anyone, but because we love black women. That's why we're against it. That's why we're against it. Brother, if you go outside your race, you are exercising your value system. You're not exercising your options. You're exercising your value system. You're dating white because you consider it to be superior. You're dating white because you feel by having a white woman, you somehow feel a little bit more equal to the white man. So you have a racial self-esteem complex. And then you bring children in the world who grow up, our biracial brothers and sisters who suffer like hell psychologically. I know because I do therapy with them in the schools. They don't know where they fit. The white people don't want me. The black people don't trust me. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Put a child to that kind of a situation. Some of my biracial brothers and sisters know how difficult it was to come to that realization that they was African. Being raised by a white mother who don't want to accept the fact that she gave birth to black children. Raising a child is biracial, multiracial, quadracial. There was no biracial in slavery. There was no multiracial in slavery. Now all of a sudden they give us a whole bunch of names so we can fight against each other with these false divisions and categories. I heard about the Eric Gardner March when I was in Mississippi or Greensboro. Brother came up and said, Dr. Umar, I was at the Eric Gardner March they had last Saturday. He said it almost brought tears to my eye. I said, why, brother? He said, because the march against police brutality, was led by the police. He said they were out front, they were in the middle, they surrounded the marchers. He said they turned it into a we shall overcome with the police march. I totally disagree with white people being in the damn protest, and I want to tell you why. When you have an all-black march, it's clear what you're marching against. African racial genocide. Once you let white folks in the march, it becomes multicultural. Once it becomes multicultural, you can no longer fight against racism because you're marching with the racists. So now the march goes from being about African racial genocide to a miscarriage of justice. A failure of the 14th Amendment. A lack of due process. We're not fighting for amendments. We're not fighting for due process. We're fighting to stay the hell alive. So for those of you who are interested in sending a resume to the school, please send them in. Resumes can be sent to fdmgresumes@gmail.com. I repeat, fdmgresumes@gmail.com. Yes, we need teachers, but I also need nurses and social workers. Yes, we need teachers, but I need counselors and lunchroom aides. Yes, I need teachers, but I need security guards and bus drivers. Yes, I need teachers, but I need recruiters and house parents to live with the children in the dormitories. I need people who know how to do natural hair because we're going to have a K to 12th grade natural hair care curriculum. I need people who know how to make raw food because the school will be 80% raw and vegan. I need people who know how to make that. You don't have to be a certified teacher to do that. I need people who know how to make clothing, because we want to change the state of black fashion by having our children open up their own clothing design studio with African fashions that we popularize with a little bit of swag. Because there will be no skinny jeans on my damn campus. No skinny jeans. Brothers and sisters, we have to declare war on our economic behavior. There was a report that came out 2 or 3 years ago that said what? Black people, more than the people of any other group in this country, don't shop because you need stuff. You shop not because you want stuff. You shop simply because it's available. They said in order to exploit black folk, you have to understand that you do not have to cater to their needs. Black people don't shop for what they need. They shop for what makes them look better than other black people. For most of us, we go into debt trying to look better than other black people. When you go buy a car, you don't go to buy a car to get you around. You don't look at the gas mileage. You stop and you say, which one of these is better than everyone else on my block? Ladies, when you go to get your hair done, you don't go to get a nice hairstyle. which style would make me stand out amongst my girlfriends? In other words, most of us are going into debt for reasons related to self-hatred. Black people, all of us going to leave this earth one day. Ain't no need denying it. Put something in place that allows your child to do a little bit better off without you than they actually did with you. We got to leave them something economically, y'all. Your homes, put the homes of the children's name so when you pass on, it's safeguarded to the next generation. Don't let the bank come and take it. There's some things we can do without money to be a little bit better protecting the wealth of the next generation. And don't let nobody make you think that we're in the condition we're in because we're lazy. Black parents, stop getting your children evaluated for special ed. They don't have disabilities. Stop the special ed. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why are you letting your child get evaluated in kindergarten? Are you serious? A reading disability in the first grade. Are you serious? A math disability in the second grade. Are you serious? How can your child have a math disability at 7 years old? They only been in school for 2 years. What's wrong with y'all parents? Letting these teachers dictate to you whether or not your child got a problem learning. Your child don't have a problem learning. Do you realize our ancestors taught themselves how to read on their own? No teacher, no tutor, under the threat of death. The problem ain't them. The problem is y'all and those teachers. The teachers don't care, and some of y'all don't care. And the worst thing that can happen to a black child is to have a teacher who don't give a damn and a parent who doesn't either. Most of my fighting in the schools, I don't do it with white folks. White folks let me do whatever I want. So when I walk in, just do what he got to do and let him out. They see me coming. It's the black folks I got to argue with. I'm sitting in meetings with some of y'all black parents in front of white folks. I got to argue with you in front of white folks to tell you that this baby is too young to be getting tested for some fake-ass ADHD. Are y'all serious? Ritalin, are you serious? Adderall, are you serious? Concerta, are you serious? Depakote, are you serious? And Risperdal, the drug that has the boys growing breasts now, are y'all serious? So he can sit still long enough to learn about Christopher Columbus. Come on, y'all. Come on. Ain't no daddy at home disorder is what's going on. And we got to fight against ain't no daddy at home disorder. Black men, we got to recommit ourselves to our women. Our boys have to see examples of healthy black families because it's under attack right now. Every brother in this room, myself included, all of us black men, in African culture, it don't matter which one you can choose. In African culture, marriage is half of culture. So all of us unmarried brothers, we got to get married. Our boys need to see that example. There's no way. Hey! We got to get married, family. There's an attack on the institution of the black family. I was at the movies a few weeks ago. I went to see No Good Deed, Idris Elba, Taraji P. Henson. I'm watching this movie, and I get to the end of the movie, and I find out the plot of the entire movie. Idris Elba, a black man, breaks out of jail to go find and kill his white girlfriend for cheating on him. And then Taraji P. Henson is a lawyer, married to a black lawyer, and we find out at the end of the movie that her black husband is cheating on her with the same white girl that Idris Elba broke out of jail to kill. In other words, the whole movie was about white cookies. And then I left that theater and I went to go see Addicted. And I'm watching this movie, and it's a black woman cheating on a black man with a white man. And then I come home and I notice that most of the commercials now are biracial commercials. You hardly see a black man and a black woman in the McDonald's, the Toyota, the Nissan. And then I turn on TV, and there's Olivia Pope. A black woman who cannot be content with any black man. A black woman who sleeps around with white men until the president wants her to be his bed wench. And this is the most popular show in America for black women. So for sisters, I have to ask you, why do you love Scandal so much? Now, as a psychologist, let's do the psychoanalysis. There's a little bit of you in everything you like. So if Scandal is the most popular show for black women, then somewhere in some sisters there is a desire to be the white man's bed wench yourself.